NBA, NHL, and WNBA. I'm telling you, the WNBA hidden gem for props. Welcome to Props and Parlays Today. I'm Andy from wagertalk.com. Let's get right into it and start looking at where the good value is on the props. And we'll start in the NBA. I hope this is not the closeout game of this series because we'd love to keep cashing on some of these props. But let's take a look at where I think some of the value is. And let's start with an under on our good friend, Mr. Rudy Gobert. I'm looking at the 24 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. And we look at this chart and He's only gone over this one time in this series, and it was a 28 performance when he had 28 points, rebounds, and assists. But you look at the other two games, 20 and 17, and that 28-point game was definitely the outlier for for Rudy Gobert. You can see her on the chart here. He's only gone over 3 out of 10 games. And that last game where he had 17 points, I think the attention on Rudy Gobert is obviously the defense and Luca torching him and getting his face, but also he's just not been that good around the rim. He's very clumsy with the ball. It has not looked good on offense. He doesn't get a lot of shot attempts. And the Mavs have done a really good job kind of clogging up that inside. Now, not having Lively is going to be a problem for them, but they managed last game. Lively wasn't in a majority of that game, and there's Rudy Gobert with only 17. And you just kind of look at, what's been going on with him. Only 9 points in the last game. Rebounds, only 6 rebounds. You could look at his rebounds under 10 and a half. He's gone under in every single one of those. The assist is kind of interesting that he's got 2 assists in his last 2 games, and you can grab his over assists at plus money. But for me, Rudy Gobert, I'm just focusing on the 24 and a half on the under. That may be a place to look at it. So, and just to remind you guys, all these plays I'm talking about, these are kind of leans. My official plays, the official plays that I actually bet with my own money and I send out to clients are on wagertalk.com. We'll talk about what we have up there here in a little bit. So when I'm going over all these props, I'm not saying play every single one of these, but this just kind of help you kind of look at some numbers maybe you haven't really seen, or maybe it kind of pushes you off of a play that you were a little worried about, or just kind of get you a nice little nugget of information that maybe you didn't know about. Um, Nas Reed, I did put this up as a free play on wagertalk.com. So the 12 and a half points here, here's what I like about Nas Reed. Well, he has gone over in all 3 games in the series. The Wolves seem to be playing better on offense and honestly on defense when he's in the lineup. He's close to 30 minutes per game in the series. I think it's just over 28 minutes per game. And if you've watched him, I mean, just the eye test, they look better with him. Games 1 and 2, his 3-point shooting was amazing. And he only had 1 make from 3-pointers in last game. He was 1 for 5, but he still got over his points total. So he's taking about 11 shots per game, just under that. I believe it's 10.7. So he's going to get the minutes. He's going to get the shot attempts. And this 12 and a half seems a little bit low, especially with Lively out. Like there's going to be a couple of extra offensive opportunities throughout the game. And I think Reed's kind of the perfect guy to take advantage of that. Maybe he gets a couple more open shots. Maybe he gets to the rim a little bit more if the Mavs are missing some of that rim protection. So Nas Reed is a guy that I've kind of liked in this one. They've got the numbers so high on Luca that I listen, it's 30 and a half. Are you going to take an under on Luca? No. I just kind of make it a rule that I don't take these big numbers. It is kind of interesting that he's gone well under his rebounds and assists in 2 out of 3 games. Like it's at 18 and a half. Last game he only had 12. Game 1 he had 14. So if you are looking at doing an under on Luca, you could look at the rebounds and assists. Only gone over this one time PRA at 49 and a half. So, and they got it so high that now you look at these and he's only gone over 2 out of 10 games. Now, the number in all these games was not 49 and a half. Some of it was down to 44 and a half, but I don't know. I'm not taking an under on Luka Doncic, not with how much he's terrorized them. But there actually was a couple plays I wanted to look at for Luka. These are off of everyone's radars. His steals. It's 1.5 steals, and you're getting like minus 105. I watched last game when he had 5 steals, and he just figured a couple guys out. In the post, I think a couple of his steals were guys that had him sealed off, and he almost let them make the turn, and he comes around and swipes the ball away, and it counts as a steal. So he had 0 in game 1, but you look at this, he had 3 steals in game or, he had no steals in game 2. He had 3 steals in game 1 and 5 in game 3. And this is one of those props that's just really under the radar. If he's figured out some tendencies of the Wolves, then maybe this is a really, really good one. I would also look at his turnovers under 4.5. It's a little juicy, minus 151, but you can see the Wolves are just not turning him over a ton. He has 4, 4, and 3, so he's barely gotten under. But I thought those were kind of interesting. The other just funny one in this series is Josh Green, will he make a three-pointer? I mean, he does it every single game. He makes one. The worry is he only takes one attempt. So he was 1 of 1 last game. I think one game in the series he was 1 of 2, and then the other game he was 1 of 1. So it's like he gets that one attempt, and if he makes it, you cash. But if he misses it, he may not get another shot. But this is just a pretty wild streak that Josh Green has going here. I was also looking at Josh Green assists. They did move this up to 1.5. I wondered if they were going to do that. He came in and played more minutes, and then he got just to have one assist was a moneymaker for a while, but they've adjusted that one. So the last one that I think is really interesting, they've made the move up on Kyle Anderson. This was 3.5. I loved it. I played it myself, and I do not know why. Oh, I know why. I didn't put it in official plays of wager shop because it's not available many places. If you can find Kyle Anderson over 5.5 points, I absolutely would take it. I mean, he's getting the opportunities, he's getting the minutes, and he's getting the shot attempts. I mean, he's easily cleared this number 11, 7, and 10. For whatever reason, he's kind of a good matchup against Dallas. I don't really know why, but easily gone over in these 3 games. He went under a couple games against Dallas in the season, but then you go back, he's at 8 and he's had 6. So he's just he seems to get to the rim and get some open shots. So slow mo is getting it done here. So if you can find Kyle Anderson over 5.5 points, that is a play that I would make. I'm not going to put that one into Wager Talk because I can't find it on a bunch of websites. But if you're in a state like me that has Bet365, I think you can find it there. So those are some props that I would be looking at in the NBA game. If you guys could do me a quick favor, hit the like button, leave a comment. You guys are absolutely crushing the comment section. I love hearing from you. From those of you that watched me on Wager Talk today, I talked about how I had a little bit of a rough weekend, but I was really happy. I'm always honest with you guys. So sat down, had a long talk with my wife yesterday, and I just feel amazing. We talked about a lot of things that like we probably should have a while ago, and it just felt like all the negative energy just like kept like leaving and leaving and leaving. And I got to be honest, this is a true story. So there was a tennis match. We needed Baez to win, and Baez was screwing around, and it goes to the final set. And I'm just like, oh my god, like we're gonna lose another unlucky one because all this negative energy is around me. And sit down, talk to my wife. We have an amazing afternoon. We have amazing talk. And I look, and Baez comes back and wins. It's like, oh, was that the turning point of everything? So I woke up today and I feel great. I took yesterday off of props and bets and didn't bet on the Pacers game, and glad I didn't. But today I feel great. So we have an NHL and WNBA pack that is up actually. So if you guys want to grab that, I really encourage you. It's only $19. NHL has been fantastic this year. Even with our props, we're number 2 for the season in units. We're number 1 in winning percentage. We're number 2 in ROI. So this season has been a home run for the NHL. And we're going to talk about WNBA here in just a bit. But WNBA props, I've determined that is going to be my focus for the summer. I'm not really going to mess with too much of MLB. I found this year to be difficult. I know a lot of people are struggling with MLB, and I'm just not going to mess with it. I have found the last week or so that the reads on the WNBA are much, much better. So, grab that play. It's up at wagertalk.com. It's only $19, and there's a couple plays in there. And look to improve on we're at plus 41 units for props. So really, really looking forward to that one. Feeling great. The sun is shining. It's all good vibes. So if you guys could hit the like button and leave me a comment, tell me how your weekend was. Tell us what you've been betting on. And let's take a look at and let's do NHL first. How about that? So, okay. NHL, only one game tonight, and there's a theme that's been happening. First off, if you're fine with laying juice, just keep playing Gustav Forsling over 1.5 shots on goal. I'm stunned that it's still 1.5 today, but it's 1.5, and he's gotten to 3 in 5 out of the last 6 games. So they're juicing it. It's almost minus 200. But who cares? Just keep playing it. If it's at 1.5, it wins. So just keep playing it. My guess is if he goes over tonight, this thing will be 2.5 shots on goal and then the under is going to be like minus 200. So you get one more day to play, one more game to play Forsling. One thing I've noticed is we've talked about Zibanejad going under. He finally went over last game, but they're just not getting a lot of shots on goal on this Florida team. This Florida team has allowed 30, 24, and 23 shots on goal. And 2 of those games went to overtime. So if you're looking at plays to keep playing every night, I would look at Zibanejad. A couple of his shots were like really, really close to the net, and I know that's what he can do. But he's really they're just not getting that many shots on goal. So I would look at some unders on some of the shots on goal. If we want to look at points, man, Tarasenko is an interesting one here, minus 166. This is just these games are just these have not been very high scoring games here. If I pull up the scores here, um, uh, w- you guys that have followed me all NHL season, you guys know that I've loved that I've loved playing guys not to have a point. And I've just picked these teams that don't score a lot of goals, and you pick a couple of their guys, and they just don't score a lot of points. So the last game was 5-4, and Tarasenko still didn't have a point. Before that, the scores were 2-1 and 3-0. So you have one game with 9 goals. He didn't have a point, and then you have 2 games with only 3 goals total, and he didn't have a point in those. So Tarasenko's one is at this minus 166. I played numbers like this all NHL season. I didn't think too much of it. So that would be a pretty nice one to have a point. And as for guys to have a point, I think we're pretty juiced out of the price here. Carter Verhaeghe's almost minus 200. I can't get there, but yeah, the one that stuck out was a Tarasenko. Montour, he's just not been getting points at all recently, so he's another one. He's minus 150. Maybe you could look at him. So there's a couple of Florida Panthers, and if we get another one of these 2-1 games, we're looking pretty good to cash those. So those are some NHL props. All right, I mentioned WNBA, and if you guys are going to be watching and staying with me, I hope you will, because I think this is going to be really profitable for everyone. I know that Caitlin Clark has been getting all the headlines, and we'll talk about her in just a second. But one thing that's different about the WNBA is more and more books are putting more and more WNBA props out. So this is a great opportunity for us because the lines are soft. They have not dialed these lines in. So I've been playing some myself. I've only put in one official play on Wager Talk, and we cashed that one. There are going to be more and more plays coming out. I've decided this is really what I want to focus on because I think there's some real advantages here. So let's talk about what I've been referring to. Okay, first one, we will go with the one getting all the headlines, Caitlin Clark. I think there's a real opportunity to consistently play her unders. I may lay off tonight, but this points, rebounds, and assists at 31.5. You can see if we would have just played the under from the very beginning of the season, we'd be 5-2 at minus 120. We're in the profit easily. So the 2 games that she has gone over, I'm going to pull up her game log here so everyone can see. So there's a game against New York and game against Seattle. And they have a couple things in common. She played 34 and 33 minutes. She shot 16 and 17 shots. Against New York, she was 4 of 10 from 3-pointers. And then Seattle, the free throws, she was 7 of 9. That's the most free throws she shot all season. So she got a bunch of points because of a nice increase in 3-pointers and free throws. She's playing LA tonight, and this is their only win of the season. She went for 11, 10, and 8, but she was only 4 of 14 from the field. I've watched this LA team, and they're not very good. I know the Indiana Fever aren't very good, but LA is not very good either. These are like two of the worst teams besides the Mystics. Mystics take the cake. They're the worst. They're terrible. So maybe it's a good spot to take the under, but I think I'm going to keep a close eye. And this may be just a trend where I just play Caitlin Clark under her points, rebounds, and assists. We got to remember she was in college a couple of months ago. This is a grueling, grinding season for someone that's not used to it. Fatigue is going to rear up. In fact, if we want to look here, she had this back to back where she played LA. She played 37 minutes, had 11, 10, and 8. The next day, they're on the road. They get beat pretty bad by 19. She only plays 29 minutes and only has 8 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. It's a spot I'm really going to look for when she's on a back-to-back and taking unders on that second leg. But she's pretty well rested now. I'm going to lay off because LA's not that good. This is what she's well rested. But I mean, these numbers don't lie. If we're going to get this number over 30, I think it's just an auto play under, especially when she's playing some of the tougher teams. So that was one thing I noticed with Caitlin Clark. Let's take a look at her teammate Leah Boston. All right. So Leah Boston's rebounds are at 7.5, and she has not been getting there. So she's only gone over this one time against UConn. The Fever are not a very good rebounding team. The Sparks do a okay job. I think I have their defensive rebounding here. So, yeah, the Sparks defensive rebounding, they're third best. And you look at the Fever, they're down here in 8th. So the Sparks, one thing they do pretty well is rebound. And she only had 6 against this LA team. So Aaliyah Boston is one that I think we can take under on the rebounds. And then on the flip side, we mentioned that the Sparks are a good rebounding team. Well, Hamby is one of the reasons why. I like the 10.5 rebounds here. Lowest total this year is 9. She had 12 last time they played Indy. And again, these two teams are not very good. They're gonna have a lot of opportunities to rebound because the shooting is just not there. So you look at Hamby here, and when she goes over, she flies over 14, 18, 12, and 13. She's well rested. She plays a ton of minutes here. I mean, look at her minutes: 38, 36, 37, 33, and 38. So love that she's going to be out there a ton, and love that she's going up against a team that can struggle to shoot. So these are kind of some of the WNBA props that I'm seeing here. Some books, if you, like I said, if you live in a state where you got Bet 365, this is going to be a cash cow. You're going to max out your Bet 365. If you're in a state that has Bet 365 and you don't have it, get it right now. Get it today. But just search around and check your books and see what they have. But this is going to be there's opportunities all over the place. So there's 3 games tonight, and there's a ton of them. So, but yeah, we're going to be focusing on the WNBA a lot. So I looked at MLB. I know a lot of you guys like to bet on MLB, and I got to be honest, it feels like betting on a treadmill. You just betting and betting and betting and betting, and at the end of the season, like you're up like 2 units or something. I don't have the patience for it. I think the lines are too dialed in. I know one person in particular who's crushing MLB, and for me personally and my style of betting, there's just other ways to make money in other sports. I don't need to try and be an expert in MLB along with everything else. I think the WNBA props are going to be my future and where it's at. So the only thing I noticed was game one. Game one for the Mets. Wrong pitcher. I was looking at Oh, well, the juice is like way up here. I was going to look at his outs, but now it's up to minus 185. So that line has absolutely ballooned out. So, yeah. So today I'm not much help for MLB. So no reason to keep doing that. All right, let's talk about some parlay pieces. This is a great week for parlay pieces. We do have the French Open. So if you want to be an all access client, you're going to get the rest of our French Open plays. Off to a pretty good start here. You can just go in here and look at a couple of these, like the big names like Sabalenka. I mean, minus 2,500 is a little much, but if you need something, you can take it. Of course, Swiatek is going to be it's going to be a monster favorite. There she is, minus 1,600. You could look at maybe her to win like 2-0 on the sets, but some of these are pretty good. Coco Gauff is going to run through her opponent. So there's a few pretty good ones here. You're only going to get another round or so out of some of these big favorites, and then it starts to get a little okay. We're narrowing it down to some of the really good ones. On the men's side, there's a few of them. Obviously, Djokovic, but minus 4,000, not much you can do with it. But Kechnow's pretty good. There's a few in here. Rublev, I do like Rublev. He's minus 650. That's a pretty good one. Ben Shelton looked pretty good in his first round, so I think he should roll. So there's a few of them. There's a minus 10,000. Alcaraz, no way. And then golf, we do have the Canadian Open. We got a couple pretty good parlay pieces here. Corey Connors at minus 275 to finish in the top 40 is pretty good. This is a watered down field. It's not that tough. He's been good. He's been very consistent, finishing in the top 40, even in really good fields. So he's doing pretty good here. McIlroy is the big favorite. Minus 350 top 20 is not too bad. This course they're playing on is pretty short. He won here. He won on this course in 2019. I am not going to play him top 10 because I don't trust the guy. I'm certainly not betting him to win as the betting favorite, but you want to find something to put with Rory McIlroy to finish at minus 350. I think that's pretty good. So it's this course is so short that if he pulls out driver and he's hitting him accurate, he's going to smash these par fours and going to have like 120 yards coming into the green. It's small green, so the closer you can get off the tee, if you're accurate, you're gonna have a huge advantage. So his length on this short course could be pretty good. So I will save MMA for tomorrow. We start looking at UFC. We've got some pretty good UFC props, but I'll save those for tomorrow. So real quick, guys, if you haven't, hit the like button and go ahead and leave a comment. And want to remind everybody, we do have that WNBA and NHL pack that's up. It's only $19. Props have been a huge source of of resources, and why beat your head against the wall with some of these other sports like MLB. Let's just keep it simple and keep cashing on these props. So we're still in the top 5 for total units gained this year at Wager Talk, and we were number 3 last year, plus 91 units. So I'm not going to come on here and tell you I'm number 1 on 3% plays on Tuesday when the sun is shining. I could tell you a few things about what I'm number 1 in, but really what our focus is that overall bankroll. Are we up? And yes, we are up. We're up over 60 units so far. Kind of been treading water a little bit, but we get a few of these French Open plays, and it looks like we're going to have another profitable month of May. So take advantage of that. I'm going to work on getting an all access pass, maybe 30 days special or something over the next couple days. So keep an eye out for that. I have a free golf article that should be up later today. Get you ready for the Canadian Open. And we do have a free play that is up if you want to go look at the write-up, but it's the Nas Reed over 12.5 points. So most importantly, guys, go get that WNBA and NHL pack. Let's start building those bankrolls. We're really to the grinding point of the season where the number of sports are kind of winding down, but actually it's great for us because we do specialize in tennis and we have the French Open that's going on. We're looking great to finish off NHL. WNBA looks really good. And PLL lacrosse starts this weekend. Tomorrow we will have plays up in that. And lacrosse has been an amazing spot for units gained this season. So the college season is over, and we finished. I believe we're up over 20 units in lacrosse. So looking forward to that. So again, you guys know I specialize in these sports that are off the radar. And that helps us because the lines are soft and the opportunities are great. Doesn't matter what sport we bet in, money all spends the same, and that's what we're going to look forward to for the summer. So we also got the soccer Euros that are coming soon. So while a lot of people kind of wind down and force plays in the MLB, that's not what we do. We keep our head down, we keep grinding, and we look to find ways to build those bankrolls in sports that not everyone is looking at. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys are watching this, I know that you're on the same page with me. We love cashing in on these sports and these bets that no one's paying attention to. So thanks very much, everybody. Good luck on all your plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow on Props and Parlays Today.